Hello. Yeah, it's today we're going to be learning about variables, and what's variables is that variable is a temporary storage for. It could be temporary. It could be a bit for long term, as long as your class lives or your object lives at that moment. It's a temporary location of storage for your data, and there are obviously different types of data. Some of them are numbers, some of them are characters, and depending on the size of your numbers, there are a variety of data types to hold your numbers, and that's and again the same thing applies for the strings. Some of them are char data types, some of them are strings. So you got to use them wisely in order to save your memory location, memory storage. For example, let's create last time we did write a hello world in a simplest form, and this time we're going to be writing the same thing, but here we'll be using the data types instead of just writing the text in our print line. So we're going to be declaring our variables at the beginning of our class, and you start with private, and next you give the type of data types that you're going to be using. There are string, there are integer, and we're going to be using them soon. And so what's happening here is that you give the visibility private, and the type of data that you're going to be holding string, and the name of your data type it's going to be text. It means that you can refer to the text in order to if you refer to the text, it's the same thing as referring to some sort of a storage location in your main memory that holds data type of characters. A sequence of characters is a string, obviously you know that. And so we've got to create our main method right now. Let's create a number as well so we can demonstrate what's what. Private integer number1, and again the same thing if we want to do simple kind of calculation. So try to make sure that you create different names for different variables, otherwise you're gonna have something called overloading. You don't want that. So now let's create our main method. Public static void main. So because we did declare our variables at the beginning of our class in our field, so we can refer to this variable names in anywhere in inside our class, so we can access them anywhere inside our class. But if you declare local variables, that variable lives only inside that scope of code, but we'll see them later. So let's say here we're gonna say text equals string text equals hello world. So we're saying text is going to be holding hello world, so whenever we refer to the text we'll be getting hello world, so it's going to be holding a sequence of these letters text. And then we'll say, for example, integer num1 is going to be holding the number 10. Integer num2 is going to be holding 22. So we did declare our kind of initialize the state of our class right now, what this ones we're going to be holding, but these instance variables they can change anywhere in your code. So but it's just the initial state, they can change anywhere. So what's happening here and now, we write And also let's declare here another variable called, for example, as I mentioned here, the local variables. For example, local variable, I can say integer total equals num1 plus num2. What it's saying is that whatever the num1 and whatever the num2, well, you know that, add them together and store them as total variable named after total. So let's implement that, for example, and now we write system out print line, and it's the same thing as previously in print line we did define our text inside this quotation marks, but here our text is inside our text in our variable named text, so we just can put down here text without any quotation mark, because computer knows already that it's a string, and strings are usually in the text. So next we're just gonna print our number one, and at the same time we can refer to something right now. Let me just show you what's like concatenation, and concatenation is that when you join together string and number together, and how it's done in Java. How it happens is that the usual format that you write your string, the number one is, you usually join them together with the plus sign, and you give your number one. And now let's do for the second number. We'll just copy this one. And then we say the total is total. So let's see what it prints out. Okay, what happened here? Here is usually basically printing out this part, but here we did extensively use the variables, which is text that refers to hello world. We got num that got number 10, num2 got number 22, so we did concatenate them. With plus sign. So hello world, the number one is, and we did concatenate number 10 and number 2, and the total is, and the total is holding the sum of your two numbers. For example, if we change here to 15, okay, 115, you don't have to change anywhere else, obviously, because it will automatically changes its storage. Yeah, so that's it for now.